Hello, this is Buddy from Mr.MetaChess. This is part 3 of our 3-part series about supplies to play the game MetaChess. If you haven't watched the other 2 videos, you'll want to check out part 1 and part 2 first. And if this game is new and unfamiliar to you, you can find the rulebook at wargamevault.com. In each video in this series, we've talked about 5 items from the supply list. And in this final video, we'll talk about the last 5 items on the list: flags, ghost tokens, notation sheet, objectives reference card, and writing tools. First up on the list, we'll talk about flags. In MetaChess, miniatures identification is a critical part of the game. In classic chess, identification is not an issue because game pieces typically have a standard shape, style, and design. However, in MetaChess, identification can get tricky depending on the miniatures you've selected to build your team. Your minis probably will not look like standard chess pieces. To avoid identification issues, we developed a flag system using small flag-shaped templates which are attached to each mini on your team. The flags in this video are made out of nails, and a magnet is installed in the base of each miniature on my team. The nails stick to the magnets nicely, but you can make this out of anything. It could be shish kebab sticks, toothpicks, Q-tips, anything that works for your miniatures. As always, we encourage DIY customization. We'll cover the flag assembly in a separate video. Next up on the list is ghost tokens. We talked about coins in part 2, and ghost tokens are just another option if you'd like to play the game with supplies which are part of the original game design. You can use coins instead of ghost tokens if you'd like. We'll cover how ghost tokens work in a separate video, but basically they are used whenever combat is engaged. Also, you can use them for coin flips to determine the weapons or armor A or B slots. And you can use them to mark profile cards whenever a miniature is engaged in combat or pre-game actions. Overall, ghost tokens are used to mark, track, identify, and determine different scenarios on the game table as the game unfolds in real time. For example, in pre-game, all of the 8 proletariat on both teams will take turns launching a long-range attack. Ghost tokens keep track of the order of turns and organizes the sequence of actions which alternates from one player to the next, back and forth again. And as we talked about in the previous video, if you don't want to use ghost tokens, you can use any kind of coin or poker chip or any sort of game token that you already have in your collection. As long as it has an A and B side and the diameter of the token or coin is slightly larger than the base of your miniatures, then you should be good to go. Next, we'll talk about the notation sheet. Notation is the process of recording a game as you are playing, using abbreviations to transcribe chess games. If you've ever played in an official chess tournament, then you should already be familiar with how notation works. MetaChess notation is similar. The only difference in MetaChess is the notation itself, which includes a unique set of abbreviations to note groups on your team and combat actions. Notation can be intimidating if you aren't familiar with the abbreviations. However, if you're new to MetaChess, then I recommend avoiding notation altogether. Generally, notation is used for official games and tournaments, but before you get into notation, it's probably best to first get familiar with the rest of the rulebook. Next up, we'll talk about the objectives and reference card. The objectives reference card is basically a double-sided card with the objectives listed on one side and a reference card or cheat sheet on the other side. You'll use the objective side to keep tally of objectives throughout the game, and you'll use the reference side to check information regarding the different roles and groups on your team, including the rules regarding weapons and armor. First, mark which faction you're playing by circling either the white or black flag located at the bottom of the card. As you complete each objective, mark it on the objectives card, and once all the objectives are achieved in one of the qualifying categories, then the game is over. The last item we'll talk about in the overall MetaChess supplies list is writing tools. Now, as we've talked about in other parts of this video series, it's a good idea to laminate the cards for your MetaChess game. If you do laminate the cards, then you'll definitely want to get some dry erase markers. Now, the marker I have here is really nice because it's an ultra fine tip, and the cap for the marker actually includes an eraser. You'll use the marker throughout the game to mark your objectives cards, fill out your profile cards, and if you're playing a more advanced game of MetaChess, then you'll use notation throughout the entire game. You'll also use your dry erase marker to mark vitality and update the vitality points as vitality is depleted throughout each combat sequence. If you don't laminate your cards, then of course you won't need dry erase markers, so just use whatever works for your game, pencil, pen, whatever. So that does it for this video. If you made it through all 3 parts of this long supply list video series, thank you so much for watching. Again, MetaChess is not quite for casual gamers, but if you enjoyed DIY projects or building your own miniature factions, then I hope you give MetaChess a test drive. It's a lot of work to prepare, build, and set up, but once you get this game rolling, overall it's a rewarding experience, and it offers a very different variety of chess. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave a comment. And if you build your own MetaChess game, please send us your photos or video clips. We'd love to see your creativity and how you build your teams for your own MetaChess game. FYI, I'm working on a number of additional tutorial videos, which will get into more of the rulebook and gameplay. For now, take care, have fun, be creative, and we'll see you in the next video.